Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online Let's Talk video with me, Sherman. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 4.2.0 patch notes for PTS right now. They are going on there, I think. We'll see. They are on there now. I have not gone in and played yet. I'm going to be doing that after I do this. I just want to kind of go over this stuff and let you guys hear my opinions and thoughts on it, on what it shows on paper, and then I'll get on PTS and I'll be live streaming after this, showing off the changes to the classes and things like that, especially the Templar, because I'll be honest, it doesn't look good. So let's go ahead and get through this real quick. So welcome to Elder Scrolls Online version 4.2.0 and the Murkmire DLC pack. This is on PTS, so if you want to check it out, you have to download the PTS version. In addition to the new zones and quests to enjoy, you also come across 2 new world bosses and 2 delves, plus a new 4-player leaderboard arena, Black Rose Prison. We also have added 12 new item sets obtainable from Murkmire content, new motives, 75 new crafting furnishings, 50 new achievements, and many fun collectibles. The base game brings changes to Cyrodiil with destructible bridges and mile gates, in addition to refresh of rewards of the worthy. Those needed to be changed. They've been the same for a while. We also introduced some improvements to the housing editor with undo, redo options and the furnishing groupings. We also know everyone's excited to see how you can now reorder your characters on the character select menu. The PTS cycle includes 2 different character templates, which is good. 1 low level, 1 high level. And then on top of that, they can't wait to hear our opinions. So let's go ahead and go on down this line here. Just a list of what's changed. We're going to start here. So the new zone is Murkmire. This is in the Black Marsh. It's actually in the lower section of the Black Marsh, near the coast. So this should be fun. We'll see. Like I said, Black Rose Prison is the new 4-man instance arena, like Dragon Star Arena, and it's got new item sets in it, which is pretty cool. I can't wait to get in here and play this, to be honest. I'm not taking my Templar in there, ever. I'll let you know that now. I'm not going to waste my time with it. New item sets. So these are the 12 new item sets coming with it, and these are the drop sets we're going to start with. So the first set is the light set, and it's called Bright's Throat Boost, which sounds pretty cool. 2-piece is Max Magicka, 3-piece Max Magicka, 4-piece is Magic Recovery, and then 5-piece. While you have a drink buff active, your Max Magicka is increased by 2,000 and your Magic Recovery by 150. That's a pretty nice setup for somebody wanting to make a super powerful Magicka type person. This will go good with the, I forget the name of the set, but there's one that gives you just a ton of Magicka. This will be a good one to have with it, especially if you're using Witch Mother's Brew, because it'll give you extra magic recovery. It'll give you a lot of extra Magicka. It'll just make you a super powerful sorcerer or whatever Magicka character you might want to play that gives you that advantage. Next up, Deadwater's Guile. This is the medium armor set. It gives you, for the 2-piece, weapon damage, for the 3-piece, max health, for the 4-piece, max stamina, and the 5-piece, which is pretty amazing. When an enemy dies within 2 seconds of being damaged by you, you gain 5 ultimate. That's pretty OP. That's going to be really good for people who like to use Dawnbreaker a lot, people who like to use, ultimates a lot. That's going to be really good for those stamina DPS that like that. Next up is the heavy armor set, weapon damage, max stamina, and then the 5-piece, gain minor heroism at all times while you are in combat, generating 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. We've needed a Shulk's kind of version of this, but in stamina for a while. This takes that place, and it makes a really good option to have for somebody who wants to have some really good ultimate gen and have extra max stamina. A little bit of extra weapon damage might be good for tanking. We'll have to see. I'm actually thinking about it. It's really weighing on me right now, so I like the idea. Next up is the crafted set, starting with the Grave Stake Collector set. 2-piece is Max Magicka, 3-piece stamina, 4-piece max health. This is one of those hybrid type sets or tri-stat sets, which can be really good depending. The 5-piece bonus: enemies you have damaged have a 10% chance to drop a grave stake for 6 seconds after they've died. Touching the grave stake restores 6,500 stamina and magicka. Only one grave stake can appear at a time. This will be good for hybrids. The reason I say that is because it gives back that extra magicka and stamina, so you can burn through those resources and get them back. This will be really good for them. Next up is the Naga Shaman. This set is actually pretty amazing. So the 2 pieces healing taken, which really isn't that great, but don't worry about it. The next piece is healing done. This is where it takes off, and then max magicka. The 5 pieces: when you cast a damage shield ability, you gain minor mending and minor vitality for 6 seconds, increasing your healing done and healing received for 8%. This effect can occur every 6 seconds. So every 6 seconds, as long as you're casting a damage shield, you will get increased healing and healing done. This is great for certain healer types that are looking for something a little bit more, to give them a little bit more survivability in their own right, and then also give them extra healing done, that kind of thing. It's a trade-off from the mending set, or the healer set from Dragonstar Arena. The next one is another drop set, or another craftable set, which is quite surprising. Max stamina, max magicka, and then weapon damage and spell damage. So this one is kind of another hybrid type set, which I like. The 5-piece, though, is after successfully blocking, gain 3 uses of Empower, increasing the damage of your next 3 light attacks by 40%. This is really good for a gladiator type character that's a hybrid, maybe a tank. Depending on if you want that extra weapon and spell damage, it could play good with that, with like Black Rose or something. We'll have to see. But to me, it sounds like a really good set for somebody who wants to be a sword and shield, in your face, you know, face tank kind of character, to get that Empower, so your next 3 light attacks are, you know, just greater. Next up is the Black Rose Prison weapon sets. Starting with Radial Uppercut. So the the weapon sets, if you guys don't know what these are sets on weapons. So anytime you equip these weapons, you get these bonuses, and they've got a basic version. So if you play through it in normal, you can get this, and if you get the basic version. If you play through the advanced version, you get the better version of it. You get the perfect version. So the first one is Uppercut, Radial Uppercut. Now this is with the 2-handed weapon. So this is the 2-handed weapon benefit. It gives you Uppercut. Your Uppercut deals 50% more of its damage to 2 enemies. So this is really good. This is really powerful. This is going to be great for PvP, PvE, just phenomenal. Now the perfect version is even better because it gives you physical penetration on attacks. We don't know how much yet because I haven't gone on PTS. We'll find out. And then of course the number 2 is again the same as the one above. Uppercut deals 50% of its damage to 2 enemies near your primary target. So you get that extra 50% damage on them with your Uppercut. So this makes Uppercut a really good cleave, kind of. It hits 3 targets, so kind of nice. The next one is Gallant Charge. This is the Sword and Shield. I actually like this one. Reduces the cost of shield charge by 25% and reduces the cost of your next non-shield charge one-handed shield ability by 100%. So you'll be able to shield charge, and if you're using the shield charge that gives you a power shield, like a damage shield, you can use that, get in on the bosses, taunt will be free. So really, really, really actually good. Really good set. The next one, the perfect version, is even better because it gives you physical and spell resist. So you can actually get away with using other sets. You could go for a more offensive tank with this. Makes it really good. Next up, you have Spectral Cloak. This is the daggers, or dual wield. Blade Cloak grants you major protection for 3 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 30%. What? Like, that's insane. 3 seconds of major protection. That is amazing. And then on top of that, the perfect version gives you stamina recovery, which makes it really good to be able to do those blade, you know, keep Blade Cloak active, because you're going to get stamina recovery. So, I mean, that is awesome. Next up, Razor Shot. This is one I'm really excited for my Sort character, because I really like using Scattershot, but this is going to make Scattershot even better. Scattershot applies a bleed after a delay that deals 40% of the initial attack every 2 seconds for 4 seconds, so it's going to get 2 ticks of extra bleed damage. The duration is increased if you are further away from the enemy or a target by up to 12 seconds. So the farther you are away, the longer the damage lasts. They also increase the length of this ability, and we'll get to that when we get down to skills. It also grants weapon critical on the perfect, which is awesome. Bows get a lot of critical now, so you can stack a lot more weapon damage with them, which makes them really, really good. The next one is Wild Impulse. This is a pretty interesting one, and it's from the Destruction Staff. So reduces the cost of Impulse by 10%. Impulse places a lingering elemental damage on your targets, dealing flame, shock, and ice damage over 9 seconds. So it deals a lot of extra damage, which makes it really good for DPS. Even maybe if you're using it as a tank, you got that force pulse or force, you know, shock, whatever, that stuns the casters. You can hit them with this. It starts depleting some of their health. Just a nice way to get some extra stuff. This one's 2-piece bonus, when you have it in perfect, is Spell Penetration, which is also amazing. The next one is the Healer Staff, or Resto Staff, and it gives you Steadfast Ward, applies major vitality to your target for 3 seconds, increasing the healing taken on your target by 30%. That is crazy. Crazy amounts of healing from that. It also grants major or magic recovery when you have the perfect version. So this is actually, these are really good. All of these are really, really good for what they do. Just insane. Excuse me. New cosmetics and collectible rewards. So there is some new rewards, which I'm kind of happy for. We'll have to, you know, earn them. Next, they talked about the Scuttlebloom and Trap plants that are in Murkmire. Murkmire is a very dangerous place, so this makes sense for these to be here. They've got electric plants, they've got poison cloud plants. It's crazy. I watched the PTS live stream, or I watched the live stream of it Friday, and I was just like in awe. Next up, new furnishing plans. There's 75 new furnishing plans, which is kind of cool, and 50 new achievements. Base game changes. So Cyrodiil, destructible bridges, and mile gates. If you guys don't know what these are, any bridge in Cyrodiil can be, like the big bridges can now be destroyed, which it creates some really unique PvP experiences, I hope. And then the fact that you can now destroy mile gates makes it really interesting. There's 3 of these mile gates, I think, in the game, in different locations, and they basically cut off your faction from like the next area. So you've got these mile gates, which will make it really cool. You have to use repair kits, you know, to fix them and stuff like that. Rewards of the Worthy, new sets. 6, I think there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 new sets. I am just astonished by these. Really good for not only PvP, but also some of them can be used really well in PvE. In this update, we've refreshed the item sets available for Rewards of the Worthy. They now provide an item from 1 of 6 all new item sets available solely through Rewards of the Worthy Melds. Note, the item sets that were previously available here are still available elsewhere in Cyrodiil. These items drop in a style of your alliance and are scaled to your level. So, starting with the first light one, Indomitable Fury. This gives you a 2-piece bonus of Max Magicka, 3-piece bonus of Max Magicka, 4-piece bonus of Stamina Recovery, and the 5-piece. After breaking free, gain minor protection and minor heroism for 7 seconds, reducing your damage taken and ultimate generation. That's pretty awesome. That's a pretty nice set for PvP. Great for Magicka casters. Spell Strategist, another great set. Grants you 2-piece max magicka, 3-piece spell damage, 4-piece spell damage. Again, lots of spell damage in this. And then when you deal damage with a light attack, you place a mark over your target for 5 seconds, granting you 500 spell damage against your target, your marked target. And the effect can occur every 4 seconds. So pretty much you can keep this up non-stop as long as you're focusing on the same target, which makes this a really, really powerful set in both PvE and PvP. Battlegrounds Acrobat. I actually like this set. The 2-piece stamina recovery and 3-piece stamina recovery. I think this is a mistype. 4-piece max stamina, and then the 5-piece reduces the cost of all your stamina abilities by 6%. This is good not only in PvP, but also for PvE if you're doing like speed clears of like public dungeons, you're farming. This is going to be really good for those farming situations with all that recovery you got coming in. So just a nice set. Soldiers of Anguish. This is the other medium set. The 2-piece weapon damage, 3-piece weapon critical, 4-piece weapon damage. Lots of weapon damage and crit on this one. I like this one too. When you deal damage with a melee attack, you have a 25% chance to traumatize your enemy, negating their next 5,500 points of healing for 4 seconds. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds. This is really just what I like to call a solo build stopper. Like, it sounds like it would be really good for that, because a lot of solo builds use a lot of like burst healing, stuff like that. If you reduce that healing by 5,500 points, yeah, they're gonna be messed up. So not really messed up, but it's gonna affect them pretty badly. The next one is the first of the heavy sets. This one I actually like really well. The 2-piece is physical resistance, 3-piece physical resistance, 4-piece max health, and then the 5-piece, when you cleanse a negative effect from yourself or an ally, gain major protection for 5 seconds, reducing damage taken by 30%. This effect can occur every 10 seconds. The reason I like this set so much is this is probably going to become a main tank set for trials, especially things like Hellrust Citadel, Halls of Fabrication, even Maw of Lorcage. Those places have a lot of AoE damage that gets applied to you. This is going to be a great way to cleanse it. This could also be a great set for somebody who wants to play like the Battle Cleric type person that uses a Resto Staff and goes in and, you know, heavy armor like healer. Really good for that in PvP. So next up we have the Battalion Defender heavy set. This one, not so sure I really like it much, but it's pretty cool. 2-piece max health, 3-piece max stamina, 4-piece healing done. The 5-piece, after successfully blocking, heal yourself or a nearby group member with the lowest health for 2,000. This effect can occur once every second. Not a bad set. I mean, the max health is kind of nice. If it had 2 things, like 2-piece and 3-piece max health, 4-piece healing done, and then the 5-piece bonus, I think it would be better. For PvP, it's a good set, and I could see a lot of people wanting to use this because it gives you max health, it gives you max stamina. So we'll have to see, but I could see a lot of like sword and shield people using this. It looks good. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on, new PvP collectibles. The new Gladiator emote is acquired by combining 3 Arena Gladiator proofs available by completing Conquest missions in Cyrodiil with an Arena Gladiator's Mockery available for purchase from the War Researchers in Cyrodiil. Next thing is really awesome. Character reordering. Now we can reorder our characters in our character select screen when we log into the game. That's cool. Housing editor improvements, just some cool stuff here. Furnishing groups, stuff like that. New crafting motives. The Dead Water motive is now available when Murkmire launches. Chapters can be obtained occasionally from completing Delve, Village, and Group boss daily quests in Murkmire. This item, style item from the Dead Water style crocodile leather is available the same sources. The Silver Moon or Silver Dawn motive will be available later this year after Update 20 is released. The chapters can be obtained by completing Moonhunter Keep, becoming more likely. It's just the Moonhunter style, and then the Elder Argonian motive will be available later this year. Finally, the Huntsman motive will be available in Q1 of next year, and this is the other one for the March of Sacrifice. ESO Plus is getting some new changes. From now on, you will be getting, I think it's 1,650 crowns, a new ESO Plus tab in the Crown Store, added a new ESO Plus deals page that collects all active deals for ESO Plus members, and updated the layout of the ESO Plus membership page. So, you know, for those who have ESO Plus, this is going to be really good for you. It's giving you a lot of really good deals, things like that. It definitely improves ESO Plus. So, it's making me kind of wish I had it. But, let's get through the rest of these, and you'll find out why I'm probably not. So, you want an Indrik? In this PTS patch, you'll begin to see glimpses of a unique collectible that you'll be able to obtain exclusively in-game by participating in upcoming in-game events. We'll be giving you a chance to test the entire flow in a couple of weeks, but in the meantime, here is a taste of what's to come. You may see hints of a nascent Indrik mount. You will be able to earn this mount for free exclusively in-game. In short, participating in specific in-game events will earn you event tickets. You can trade those event tickets at a unique NPC called the Impresario for different types of Indrik feathers. Once you have 4 Indrik feathers, you can use them to perform the Indrik summoning ritual. The nascent Indrik can later be evolved into different adult forms. Doing so will require specific enchanted berries obtained from the whatever. Evolving the whatever is also something you will be able to achieve by participating. Yeah, so it's all in-game events. That just sounds really cool. Getting a free mount in-game by earning it is just awesome. New champion point increase. The new increase is to 810. So when this update goes live on the live servers, sometime in late November, mid to late November, we will get this. In fact, just to give you guys something here, this just went live today. So we got 5 weeks before it goes live. So we got up to here is 2 weeks. And then you go from here to here. This is 3, 4, 5. So we're looking at somewhere around November 22nd when this will go live on the live servers, somewhere around there. So, but the champion point increase, that's kind of nice. Mech has a new update. Mech min specs, we have switched mech render from OpenGL to Molten VK metal to support the upcoming release of the upcoming Mac OS Mojave, which is, if you haven't had a chance to use Mojave, it is an amazing OS. It is really, really good. Like, awesome setup. So this is what they ask for you to have. It's a pretty nice system. All right, available templates. So we are getting 2 templates with this. One, a level 50 max level template, which is going to be cool for those of us who like to make builds and all that kind of stuff. But they're also going to have a test one that's a level 10 character that'll help you get to see how well your character can handle Murkmire. Awesome idea. I wish they would have done this with all the updates till now. So that means I don't think you start with any CP or anything. You just start at level 10, which would be good to test out Murkmire with. So go check those out. If you guys are doing PTS testing, go use the level 10 one to try and experience what it would be like. I think it would be good. I think it would be nice for the devs to hear feedback, especially on what we're going to talk about next. So we're going to go over this. Pull abilities may not display the crowd control immunity effects correctly after the target. This is just PvP stuff. New Clockwork City changes, some Dark Brotherhood changes, not much. House or Horns the Reach, just a new change to one of the bosses. Morrowind, Divine Restoration, quest is fixed. Quest in Orsinium, some Somerset changes, lots of them. And then Thieves Guild, Wolf Hunter, and then we're getting into the combat changes and gameplay changes. This is where, I'm going to say it now, a lot of this looks really good. It does. But I'm going to take this as with a grain of salt, guys, and hope the devs Really listen to the community on this. So let's go ahead and get started. Updated the interaction between roll dodge and projectiles. Fixed an issue where projectiles would always be dodged if a target was roll dodging at the moment the projectile was created. Yeah, doesn't happen anymore. Projectiles can now only be evaded if the roll dodge occurs within 1 second prior to their impact. Good luck. They explain why I'm not... This will help sync up roll dodge animations with the dodge bonus it grants. If you see an enemy actively dodging, you will be able, they will be able to avoid your attacks. Yeah. Updated the behavior of all damage shields. This is actually what I'm really glad about. You can now deal a critical strike against an enemy with a damage shield. Good. Your spell and physical resistance now reduces incoming damage before it is applied to your damage shield. Great for tanks, really crappy in PvP. So they explain why they did it. They basically say it was for tanking. Poison and weapon enchants can now proc even if the damage done by the light attack, heavy attack, or weapon ability is fully absorbed by the damage shield. So they will proc on the damage shield, helping you diminish that damage shield quicker. Alright, so moving on. Fixed several issues with poison and weapon enchants. All poisons now correctly proc 20% of the time when you light attack, heavy attack, or weapon ability deals damage. Food and drink will now provide the correct stat bonuses if they are consumed while you have a poison equipped. All weapon enchants now correctly proc 100% of the time when not on cooldown, when light attack, heavy, okay. When dual wielding, casting weapon abilities can now proc the weapon enchant of either weapon. This system will favor proccing a weapon enchant that is not on cooldown. I like that. Next up, they removed the baseline 100 spell and physical penetration all characters previously had. Yeah, we don't have that anymore. They refactored the break free ability and crowd control immunity buff to increase consistency and reliability of these mechanics. Good. Updated the skill advisor for most stamina builds to suggest the trap beast ability at a later level. So if you're using a pre-constructed stamina class build, it will tell you to take trap beast at a later level. They fixed an issue where you could add or remove abilities on your ability bar while you were in combat. Good thing. They also fixed an issue where some movement speed bonuses were not additive with each other, resulting in very slight inconsistencies in total movement speed when they were used together. They also fixed numerous ability tooltips for grammar, spelling, formatting, and accuracy, and fixed an issue where mounting while taking dot damage would cause you to be unable to mount or swap weapons. Alright, so now we're getting into the buffs and debuffs. Lots of changes here. Minor and major evasion. These buffs no longer grant a passive chance to dodge. They now reduce the damage you take from area of effect attacks by 5 to 25%. All abilities that previously granted minor or major evasion have been converted to this new effect, and Blade Cloak ability now grants major evasion. So, they say here the change affects the abilities blur, evasion, deceptive, predator, gossamer, grace of gloom, adept rider, hissbark, and specter's eye. As noted above, we spent time fixing issues with dodge with the goal of making sure that you only dodge abilities, projectiles when you are actually actively dodging. Passive dodge goes against that, so we removed it from the game. Major Expedition fixed an issue where the visual effects from this buff were only visible to the caster. Minor Brutality has been changed, guys. Increase the bonus to weapon damage to 10% from 5%. Yeah, that's a little high. Minor Prophecy increased the spell critical chance to 6% from 3%. Minor Savagery increased the weapon critical from 6% to 6% from 3%, and then Minor Sorcery increases the bonus to spell damage to 10% from 5%. Now, I'm going to show you what it says. The change to Minor Brutality, Prophecy, Savagery, and Sorcery were aimed at making each class feel valued in group play. It should be encouraged, but not required to have a party with multiple classes. Yeah. No, you just basically locked in everybody to the same builds that they've been running forever. Cool. Dragon Knight. Now this is where things kind of get me going off the rails, and I'm not going to lie. Please be sure to read through all Dragon Knight changes fully before providing feedback. Many of the changes in this update complement each other. Lava Whip. Decrease the range of this ability in its morphs to 5 meters from 8 meters. That means you've got to be right up on them pretty much. Flame Lash. Remove the stun from Power Lash special attack. We want all classes to be intentional about when they land stuns on the enemy, and not have it coupled with an already high damaging attack. Okay, understandable. Power Lash special attacks no longer free, lashes is no longer free and now costs half the amount of the regular Flame Lash. This puts the ability on par with other types of proc abilities such as Crystal Frags. World in Ruin. This one just kind of just makes me shake my head. This ability no longer increases the damage of poison area of effect abilities by 3 and 6%. It now reduces the stamina cost of all stamina abilities by 12 and 25%. The flame bonus of this passive remains unchanged. So it still increases flame damage, but reduces the cost of stamina. Okay. Whatever. Draconic powers. Dragon Leap. They fixed an issue where this ability and Take Flight morph did not improve as they ranked up. That has been fixed. Elder Dragon. This passive ability now also increases the range of all instant cast melee abilities 1 meter per rank, in addition to granting health recovery for each Draconic power ability slotted. Now, Elder Dragon is a passive. Their reasoning. This change was made to help standardize the range of all DK melee attacks. It also matches the melee light attack range of the range of their abilities. This additional range helps distinguish melee DKs from other melee classes. Spiked Armor. Now this one I am happy about. Hardened Armor. Increase the duration of the damage shield from this morph by 6 seconds from 2.5. That's going to be great for tanks, especially with the new like shield changes and stuff. Earth and Heart. Ash Cloud. They increase the healing done by approximately 50%. Cinderstorm. Increase the healing done by approximately 60%, which is good. Eruption. They increase the initial damage done by approximately 15% and the damage over time by approximately 70%. This is going to make Eruption a really good AoE damage ability and a nice heal. Molten Weapon, Igneous Weapon. Fixed an issue where this morph did not improve as it ranked up. It does now. Obsidian Shield. Decrease the strength of the damage shield from this ability and its morphs to 9% of your max health from 10. Fragmented Shield. They fixed an issue where recasting this morph would not fully refresh the damage shield value. Okay. Nightblade changes. Some of these are pretty good. They increase the cost of the Assassin's Blade ability and its morphs by approximately 30%. Okay. Mark Target. Piercing Mark. Decrease the duration of detection effects to 5 seconds from 30. This does not change the Major Fracture, Major Breach effects. Remain unchanged. That's good. Grim Focus. This is the one where people are going to go, what? Fully charged heavy attacks now grant 2 stacks towards the Spectral Blow for this ability in its morphs. I'm not saying what about that. It's the next part. The Spectral Blow proc is no longer free and costs half the amount of a regular Grim Focus. Yeah, what? And they fixed an issue where you could generate stacks towards the Spectral Bow proc. Shadow Consuming Darkness. Fixed an issue where this ability and the Bolstering Darkness morph did not improve as they ranked up. The duration now improves 0.5 seconds per rank. And then Path of Darkness. This ability no longer deals damage. It now grants Major Expedition to you and your allies in the path for up to 2 seconds after leaving it. Twisting Path. This morph now adds damage. The damage value is the same as what is currently on live. Refreshing Path. This morph now adds healing. the healing value is equal to the damage value of Twisting Path. So they just took the damage out of Path of Darkness. They explain why. I'm not even going to get into that. Siphoning, drain power. Power extraction. Increase the damage done by this morph by approximately 10 or 25%. Awesome. Siphoning strikes. Fully charged heavy attacks now restore twice the amount of health and resources from the ability and its morphs. This makes heavy attack and light attack builds for the Nightblade really good. Strife. Reduce the damage done by this ability by half, but it now also heals 50% of the damage done and can now target you or any ally. The total healing amount remains unchanged. Swallow Soul. This morph now doubles the damage but decreases the heal to 35% of the damage done and can only target you. The passive minor vitality effect has been removed. This morph will allow you to heal you and additional ally. That's what Funnel Health does. It's always done that. Dark magic. This is sorcery stuff. Yeah, we'll just get into it. Crystal Fragments. This icon on your action bar now changes when you have an instant cast proc. Fixed an issue where using this instant cast proc would cause you to stop blocking and would prevent you from taking other actions for 0.2 seconds. Dark Exchange. This ability and its morphs now restore half their resources immediately and the other half over 20 seconds. The total resources restored has been increased by approximately 2%. The health restored remains unchanged. Dark Deal. This morph now also has a cost reduction bonus as its morph effect. Ruin Prison. This ability and its morphs now stun the target after 1.2 seconds. A new visual effect will display on the target to indicate this effect. The initial application of this effect cannot be dodged, but if the target is dodging after 1.2 seconds, they will avoid the stun. So what's the point of casting it? Increase duration of stun to 3 seconds from 2 seconds. Ruin Cage to increase the damage done if the target fails to use Break Free for the stun ends by approximately 22%. That's kind of nice. Daedric Summoning. Bound Armor. Increase the bonus to block mitigation granted by this ability and its morphs to 36% up from 20%. What? Like hell? My god. It's crazy. Conjure Ward. This ability and its morphs now have a 1 second cast time, previously an instant cast. Increase the duration of the damage shield of Conjure Ward and Hardened Ward morph to 9 seconds from 6. Empowered Ward. Increase the duration of the damage shield to 14 seconds from 9 seconds. You know, it's cool, but a 1 second cast time, don't know how well it's going to be. Daedric Curse. Daedric Prey. Decrease the cost of this morph approximately by 20%. Summoning Unstable Familiar. Decrease the cost and of the special attack from this ability and the Volatile Familiar morph by approximately 15%. And then summon Unstable Clanfear. Decrease the cost of the special attack and its morph by approximately 33%. Really good. Summon Winged Twilight. Decrease the cost of the special attack and its morph by 15%. Okay. Storm Calling. Mage's Fury. Fixed an issue where this ability could be cast on corpses. Fixed an issue where the execute explosion would sometimes not trigger correctly when the target fell below 20% health. They also fixed an issue while casting this ability would aggro monsters before actually dealing damage, and then fixed an issue where you could cast this ability on a target you did not have line of sight on. They fixed an issue where this ability was not counting towards the Expert Mage passive. It's good. Overload. This ability and its morphs no longer grant a third ability bar when toggled on. Weapon abilities can now be used while in overload mode and are no longer hidden. You can no longer generate any ultimate while you have this ability on is toggled on. You can now only toggle this when you have 25 ultimate or more, previously 75. Light and heavy attacks are now off the globe cooldown and can be woven with other abilities. They decrease the damage of the light attacks by approximately 50% and 60% on heavy attacks. Holy cow. This morph now specifies the bonus range and radius for the light and heavy attacks. Yeah, that's cool, but right. Now we're getting into my class that I do prefer, but not so much anymore. Aedric Spear, Piercing Javelin, Blinding Javelin. This morph now knocks enemies down instead of knocking them back, which is good. I'm glad. Puncturing Strikes. They increase the damage dealt to the closest target only by approximately 8% for this ability and its morphs. While channeling this ability and its morphs, your character will now always orientate the direction of the area of effect towards your reticle, which allows you to turn and damage enemies with these abilities while you are rooted. So you'll be able to like track people with it, which is good. Radial Sweep, Empowering Sweep. This morph now deals physical damage instead of magic damage and also now grants major protection for 6 seconds plus 1 second for each target hit. That's 30% damage reduction. Really nice change, but we'll see. This morph now deals magic damage instead of physical damage for Crescent Sweep. I like the Empowering Sweep has that. I really do. It's going to be nice, but we're not getting into the worst part of it. Spear Shards. Increase the damage done by this ability and the Luminous Shards morph by approximately 67%. Blazing Spear. They increase the damage done with this ability by approximately 60%, which makes this pretty powerful. But this is where they have me shaking my head. Spear Wall used to grant 15 block mitigation when you blocked from ranged and like projectiles. Now this ability grants you minor protection for 3 seconds after activating an Aedric Spear ability, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad. We wanted to retain the defensive flavor of this passive while making it acceptable or applicable blah 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 to more of the Aedric Spear skills. The previous version wasn't effective with puncturing strikes and focus charge because they cannot be used while blocking. Damage shield mitigation doesn't include block or stun or sun shield. Also wasn't useful previously with this skill. Basically, they want you to use this as a tank to keep sun shield or blazing shield going, so you can get awesome amounts of mitigation. Blazing Shield. Fixed issue where casting this morph would aggro neutral monsters around you. Cool. The thing I don't like is I don't like losing that 15% block mitigation, because it didn't matter if you had an Aedric Spear ability slotted. Whenever you used an Aedric Spear ability, you gained the block mitigation when you blocked. So I was happy with that. Now, or even when you didn't block, I was happy with that. Now it's the damage reduction. And what they did with the damage reduction thing really irks me. So we'll get to that. Dawn's Wraith, Backlash. Increase the cost of this ability and its morphs by approximately 5%. Ooh. This one I am happy about. Radiant Destruction. They decrease the channel time of this ability and its morphs to 1.8 seconds from 2.8, but they also decrease the damage by 15% and the cost by 35%. The total damage per second and cost per second should remain relatively unchanged. Bull. I call bull right now on that. Next up, Restoring Aura. So if you guys don't know what Restoring Aura was, it's a thing that when you use it, it would give like different benefits depending on which morph you took. One would give you Magicka return because it would apply Magicka Steel to all enemies within a 28-meter radius. The new one for the Stamina morph, or the Repentance morph, which was the other morph, now different Templars can repent the same corpses. So every Templar can run around with Repentance and get health and stamina back like it's going out of style. Ruin Focus. Reduce the cost to match the channeled focused morph. Okay, cool. Restoring Focus. This morph costs stamina and grants stamina to you every second and no longer gives minor vitality and minor protection. They took minor protection, put it into the Aedric Spear line. I would have had no problems with them doing that if they would have left minor vitality on the other one. But now it just does stamina recovery. Whoop-dee-doo! Templars had really great stamina sustain already as tanks. You just removed all aspects of their protective capabilities and moved it to the use of abilities, and then left this. And then you drop the amount of time it lasts to 3 seconds per cast of ability. Guess what? My damage shields can last 6 seconds. So what's the point of using that when you lose so much? But their reasoning. Minor protection was removed from the spear wall passive to retain the total damage mitigation for tanky Templar playstyles. Tanky Templar play... What about tank Templars? Sorry, that just irks the hell out of me. It makes me not want to play my Templar anymore. Like, the other changes I like. I like a lot of these other changes. The spear wall one, I really don't care for it. If they would have changed it to where, like, hey, when you use an Aedric Spear ability, it does this instead, like, buffs your damage with magic and stamina, I would have, or, you know, physical and spell, I would have been like, hey, that's cool. Like, I don't need the block. But you took away the things that made Ruin Focus so perfect for tanks and made him useless. Wonderful. Sorry, it does. It makes him useless. Like, don't even worry about playing a Templar tank now. Because you're not going to be that tanky anymore. They were good tanks. Warden, Animal Companion. Advanced Species. This is a passive. Increase the bonus damage done from each Animal Companion slotted to 3% at rank 2, previously 2%. Betty Netch. Increase the resources restored by this ability and Smorts by approximately 60%, so you're getting a crap ton of resources back now. Good for all Wardens. That's what I'm going to be playing now from now on, is my Warden and my Sork. Fixed an issue where the beam visual effects would not display if you recast the ability or its morphs. Dive, the morph cutting dive. This morph now also reduces the cost of as a morph effect. Cool. Screaming Cliff Racer. This morph no longer has a minimum range requirement to obtain part of the 15% damage bonus. Every meter you are away from the target adds 1% damage done up to a maximum of 15%. I'm fine with that. Falcon's Swiftness. Fixed an issue where part of the visual effects from this ability and its morphs was still visible to enemies even when you were hidden. Bird of Prey. The Minor Berserk is now granted at all times while the morph is slotted. Much better. Much, much better. Deceptive Predator. The Minor Evasion buff is now granted at all times while this morph is slotted. This morph no longer grants an increased duration to the active Major Expedition or Major Endurance buffs. Cool. Feral Guardian. Decrease the amount of damage done by the bear summoned from this ability and its morphs by approximately 30%. Yeah, that's going to make some people pretty mad. Reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs by approximately 25% on Scorch and Swarm. They increase the cost of this ability and its morphs by approximately 30%. Not a lot of people are going to want to play these as DPS anymore. But that's okay. Green Balance. Maturation. The minor toughness granted from this passive now applies even if the target was completely overhealed, and its duration has been increased to 10 to 20 seconds from 5 and 10 seconds. Okay, that's cool. Nature's Grasp. This ability can now target your Feral Guardian and its morphs. Awesome. Winter's Embrace. Arctic Blast. This morph now fires a projectile that stuns the target in addition to healing you. It requires an enemy target to cast the ability. This ability also no longer deals damage over time based on your maximum health. If you guys don't know what I'm doing, I'm giving a finger to the screen. Because that is bull. Impaling Shards. Fixed an issue where the visual effects of this ability and s'mores did not persist for the full duration of the effect. Cool. Not only did they mess up the Templar to some degree, they messed up the Warden by some degree. And this is to make the classes feel unique, you know. But I will be playing my Warden more often and my Sork. So, moving on. Dual Wield. Blade Cloak. This ability and its morphs now grant major evasion. Yeah, we know what that does. Bow. Arrow Spray. Acid Spray. Fixed an issue where the damage over time from this morph was breaking the invisibility on the Shadow Cloak. Scattershot. Increase the range of this ability and its morphs to 28 meters from 10. Awesome. Thank you. Destruction Staff. Impulse. Increase the damage done by this ability and its morphs by approximately 25%. That's actually pretty cool too. Excuse me, guys. Next up, Light Armor passive. Annulment. This ability and its morphs now have a 1-second cast time, previously instant cast. Increase the duration of the shield to 9 seconds from 6 seconds, making it pretty OP. But it has a 1-second cast time. Evocation. This ability now increases your magic recovery by 2 to 4% per light armor worn, and in addition reducing cost of magic abilities by 2%. So they just made evocation do what they had 2 of them doing. Next up is recovery. They renamed this ability to Grace. This ability's old effect has been merged into evocation. It now reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to you and the cost of sprint. Yeah. Let's just see. All these changes are aimed at making light armor more attractive to Magicka users in both PvE and PvP. Okay. Agility increased the weapon damage to 7 and 15%. Yeah. Okay, stamina DPS just went through the roof. Werewolf fix. Different werewolves can now devour the same corpses. That's cool. Savage Strength fixed an issue where this passive ability was not actually increasing your spell or physical resistance. Does now. Werewolf Transformation fixed an issue where the transformation from this ability in Morris was being removed from you if you zoned into a new area. And Pack Leader fixed an issue where using a heavy attack against your enemy would not cause your dire wolves to target that enemy. Alright. Fighters Guild, Silverbolt, Silver Leash, fixed an issue where you could not cast this morph and be silenced. Psijic Order, imbue weapons, decrease the cost of this ability and crushing weapons by approximately 5%. Elemental Weapon Morph, increase the cost of this morph by 10%. So I'm happy about the decreased cost, that's cool. Undaunted, Inner Fire, Inner Beast Morph, fixed an issue where you could not cast this morph while you were silenced. Yeah, because it's a stamina morph. Now it can be cast. Alliance War. Some pretty cool things. Reach. This ability now only affects abilities that have a 28-meter range or more, previously 15 meters, and Warhorn. This ability as morphs no longer grant minor toughness. Yay! Finally. And here's why. The change was made to give Wardens the ability to provide a unique buff to groups. Yeah. Remember how many people used to say Warrior Poet sucked because it granted minor toughness? Wardens could get it for free, but no other tank could get, every other tank was going to use Warhorn? Now you don't get it. Now you're going to need it. Just saying. Good set. Champion System, The Apprentice, Spell Precision, decrease the critical strike chance granted to 9% from 12%. Ritual, Precise Strikes, decrease the weapon critical chance granted to 9% from 12%. Yeah, that's a thing, guys. And their reasoning why, I like it. These changes were made to keep damage and critical strike rates in line after the increased changes to Minor Prophecy and Savagery. It's cool. The Shadow. Befoul. Fixed an issue where placing points on this champion ability was not updating the tooltip of some major and minor defile abilities. Now, I'm not saying, guys, that the changes to Templar is going to like completely change my mind on how the Templar works. I'm still going to play the crap out of my Templar. It's just I'm not happy with the changes. And I haven't played it really yet. I mean, after reading through a lot of it, and really kind of getting into the meat of it, you can see why a lot of these changes were made. A lot of them are good. Some are still keep you in an iffy place. Itemization and item sets. There's actually a lot of good ones here. Fixed an issue where bind on equipped weapons on your secondary weapon bar would not bound them to you until the weapon swap bars. Now, when you equip a bind on equipped weapon, it will immediately bind whether or not you are currently using that weapon bar. Decrease the effectiveness of poisons that increase magic and stamina costs to a 10% increase, previously 30%. So that's kind of cool. Glyphs. Absorb stamina. This glyph now deals physical damage instead of magic damage. Yay! Awesome! Sorry, I'm happy. Crusher. This glyph now always prioritizes the highest value debuff on the target. A lower value Crusher enchantment proc cannot overwrite a higher value one. Hey, I'm happy. Weakening, same thing as the Crusher. It just won't proc on a like the lower one, and it won't override the higher one. It'll always keep the higher of the two. Item sets. Lots of good changes in here, in my opinion. First off, they fixed an issue where healing ability tooltips were not being updated when you had an item set that increased healing done. Now it does. Affliction fixed an issue where the damage from this item set was being mitigated by the target's spell resistance instead of physical resistance. If you don't know, it does disease damage. Jovial's Guidance, they fixed an issue where this item set was not increasing the duration of major protection buff from the Remembrance morph. And then Maw Infernal, they fixed an issue where the damage area of whatever Fiery Breath ability was smaller than the visual effect area. Pirate Skeleton fixed an issue where appearance change from this item set was not lasting the full duration if you were also wearing Jovial's Guidance item set. I don't know why you'd want to combine the two, but hey. Powerful Assault fixed an issue where the proc from this item set would only apply to your group members and not just any ally. So that's good. Thorvican fixed an issue where Minor Defile debuff applied was only reducing healing received and not also health recovery. That's really good now. And Vestments of Ulram fixed an issue where some players' abilities and dungeon bosses' synergies were incorrectly proccing this item set. And then the Kosa fixed an issue where this item set would not proc Major Maim if the target was taunted by the Tormentor item proc set. There's some other base game changes to like the PvP itemizations. The 3 tutorial quests in Cyrodiil will no longer grant Pelinals mid-year boon boxes during mid-year mayhem. Those boxes are intended to be rewards for daily quests. However, all 3 tutorial quests now grant 3,000 AP upon completion from a total of 9,000. For a total of 9,000 AP. Keeps. Keep walls have 400 whatever when upgraded instead of 305,000. That's crazy. Rework the whatever. Yeah. That's the new stuff there. Towns, battlegrounds, art and animation changes, combat and gameplay, world bosses. All right. Crafting and economy, crown store and crates. Yeah. Fixed an issue where you were unable to see hidden or invisible allies when you first loaded into the same zone as them. That I hope that's fixed. Okay, they fixed some spelling on something. Some achievements, books, mementos, housing. Yep. Okay, Green Shade. Throne of Wilder King. Wilder King is now positioned properly. Alright. UI changes. Gamepad mode. Fixed an issue where text could overlap into the jewelry crafting improvement screen. They also fixed an issue where you couldn't scroll through tooltips in the daily reward screen. And the jewelry crafting surveys thought they were lore books. Spoilers, they aren't. Fixed an issue where the Arubis map could be zoomed in and defaulted to being zoomed in. Okay. Added new displays. And that is it, guys, for this update of the PTS patch notes, which are on PTS right now. You can go check it out for yourselves and try all this stuff out. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, you know, I can see why it's good. I can see why the changes were put in place. I'm not happy with some of them because it really does take away some of the true representation of what made the classes unique, like Rune restoring focus on the Templar, giving them that minor vitality, minor protection, along with their resistance buffs. If they would have just changed Repentance, no offense, to be like the other morph, instead of applying Magicka Steel, it applied Stamina Steel. I think that would have been better in the long run. Now, I think that a lot of this, like now that it grants stamina return every second, I think we're going to see a lot of more stamina DPS Templars using that, and we're going to see a lot less tanks using it. I mean, we'll still see tanks using it because of the stamina return, and if the stamina return is there even while you're blocking, that's kind of nice, but it's still not going to be enough to make a big difference, so we'll have to see. And then, of course, you know, Spear Wall just irks me. I'm glad about Spear Shirts. I really am. This is going to make Blazing Spear really awesome. No offense. It's going to make it really, really awesome. Sun Shield, I'm glad that they did that fix. You know, Empowering Sweep is going to be great. I might even go back to using it. I don't know yet. Puncturing Strikes, making it a channel that like locks, like you can track your target with. That's cool. Not happy with a lot of the, you know, I'm happy, but I'm not happy with some things. I'm not gonna lie, but that Templar thing just kind of has me irked. It's just, I just feel like they're trying to take away the idea of every class being a tank, and they're just gonna make the DK the main tank for F and everything. I almost said the word. Would have got me in trouble. Would have been grounded. But yeah, lots of good changes, lots of good stuff coming with this update. I'm super excited for Murkmire. I've been waiting to go here, and after seeing the PTS videos, it's going to be awesome. Come back in a little bit, guys. I will have this uploaded, and I will be on PTS after probably 1 o'clock, so come back and check that out. But other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, or just other things by me, you can hit that subscribe button. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with me today. Till next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye.